What's up, YouTube? My name is Ranee B, and I'm here bringing you the homicidal tea. We're going to be talking about all the stories that you may or may not have heard of. Hopefully you haven't. And just talking about like what goes on behind the scenes, like after the people have confessed and why they confessed or why they didn't confess or who their friends are. Anyway, that's hopefully what we're going to be focusing on. This is a true crime and makeup channel where you watch me do my makeup. I am not a beauty blogger. I am not a makeup tech or cosmetologist or anything like that. I'm just a 45-year-old lady that happens to know how to do a little bit of blending and loves to watch my Brittany Vaughn and my Bailey Sarian. And they are mine. They're not yours, they're mine because I'm their biggest fan. I'm probably going to say this again later, but like if I ran into them, I'd freak out. Oh my God. Anyway, that being said, let's get into the story for today. We're going to bring you Wilda Wilkinson. She seemed like a great lady, and it's a shame what happened to her, and luckily it is solved. Most of my cases are going to be solved. I like resolution. I don't want to wonder what happened because there's enough wonders and uncertainty right now, isn't there? Oh God, whatever. I'm so tired of that word uncertainty. In these uncertain times. Oh, give me a break. You know what? How about these shitty times? It absolutely sucks, and I want to leave my house. Anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my first video on YouTube, and I'm really excited to be here. I absolutely stole the idea from Bailey and from Brittany. Absolutely 100% stolen. Absolutely. Plead guilty. They just inspired me to do it, and I figure I can bring a little bit of my knowledge of my, I figure I can bring a little bit of my experience. Is that a nice way to put it? That I'm a little older than them. I can like I can be Grandma Sarian. I'm not trying to be related to her or anything. Not that level of stalker yet. But no, I just want to incorporate more looks that you can wear to work and looks that will definitely stay, and also looks that are cheaper because we can't afford. I don't know about y'all, but like Pat McGrath, I went to Sephora, which you can't try on anything right now. Oh my God, how am I supposed to match foundations if I can't even try it on, sir? But you can hold a piece of acrylic up to my face and see if that's a different video. I don't even know if there's enough bandwidth on YouTube for me to rant about that. But anyway, I digress. Again, you're gonna hear that phrase a lot because I digress a lot. But like a lot of these things, like that palette that I wanted was $170 something. Really? No. This was $9. $9. It's a rip of something, I'm sure. And it was on Amazon. I get everything on Amazon. You're welcome, Jeff Bezos. For how many houses I bought you now? It's so pretty! Oh my gosh, it's so pretty! So sweet! I love it. Anyway, but it's fabulous too. It's only $9. And I'm going to put everything that I use in the description. I'm also going to probably, because these intros are going to be long in the beginning, because I just want to talk to y'all. I don't know you. I'm trying to get to know you. So what are you doing? Anyway, at the beginning of my videos, I'll put the time that the actual video will start, not just me rambling. So anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and get into the story. And I'm so glad you're here. Hit like and subscribe. I heard that does something. I don't know yet what it does, but everybody else does it, so I'm gonna say it too. Anyway, it's great to meet you guys, and hopefully we have a lot to talk about soon. Thanks. Bye. Okay, let's get right into it. All right. In July of 1986, there was a lady by the name of Wilda Wilkinson, and she was the type of lady that was one of those real caring and real just sweet ladies. She was a nurse at the South Haven hospital in Bangor, Michigan, where she was from. She lived by herself, and you know, it was not uncommon for Rhonda, her daughter, not to hear from her every day, but you know, just it had been a while since she'd heard from her, so she went over there to see how her mom was doing and just see why she hasn't, you know, picked up the phone whenever she's been calling. So she got there, and she got to the front door, and it was locked. That was pretty normal. And it was everything seemed okay in the front. When she got around to the back is when she noticed things were kind of weird. So what it was is that one of the screens didn't seem like it was on the door, on the window, excuse me, like it should be. So it was a little bit loose. So she pried it all the way off and let herself in. And she then discovered her mom laying in the bedroom with her legs wide apart and her arms down by her sides. It looked really staged. So at that point, she decided to call the authorities because she didn't want to contaminate a crime scene, if you will. And so the police came out and they started, processing the scene. Forensic investigators were out there, and they noticed a guy just kind of hanging around. And they were like, sir, can we help you? Do you know anything? Blah, blah, blah. Got a statement. And he said his name was Michael Curry. And he said, yeah, I did that. Pardon? Come again? He was like, yeah, I've been staking that house out for a while and planned on robbing it. Knocked on the door. Nobody came to the door. I was ready to make my entry. When she came to the door, it scared me. I pushed her in, knocked her on the recliner, strangled her with my own hands, and took off her underwear to make it look like a sexual assault, which was true. Nobody knew this but the policeman and her daughter at this point. So they were like, well, we got our guy, and they took him in. Well, not so fast. When they got him in, and all of us in true crime and anybody who watches a lot of, true crime shows, that there's a lot more than just somebody confessing. They need to make a case, and the DA has to agree to get the arrest warrant and all that. So when they pressed him further, it turns out he didn't have some detailed. So when they asked him specifics on things like, where was her body? How did you strangle her? Where did you strangle her? Did you come from the front? Did you come from the back? Did she struggle? Things like that. He didn't have a lot of details for him. So even though he had confessed, they went to the DA and they said, hey, is there anything we can do? And the DA said, unfortunately, right now, no, cut him loose. We'll continue to make a case and then we'll come get him. That happens a whole lot. I mean, a lot of times. So they went ahead and let him go. And then just a couple months later, on the 21st of August of that same year, Michael Curry was arrested on an unrelated, unarmed robbery charge. And again, he confessed to the Wilda Wilkinson killing. It was strange because they reached the same impasse that they were at before, where they were like, well, what details can you give us about this? Well, not much. Okay, then how do you think this is going to be different than before? We can't charge you unless we know more. Just let us in on some of the details and we can move forward with this. And he wouldn't give any other details, but he just wanted to claim the crime. So it was still weird. So they were still at the same impasse. It just, they couldn't get past that. So they had to let him go again. And then they charged him with the little crime. He did his little time and then he was out again. But on the 12th of December, that same year, Michael was busy that year, very busy. It was recorded that he was arrested again, and this time was for beating the living shit out of his roommate, within an inch of his life. And his roommate luckily survived and was able to testify against him, and they could get this guy off the street. But 2 days after he was arrested, the investigators from the Wilda Wilkinson case, they received an anonymous letter that said, I know who killed Wilda Wilkinson. It was a guy by the name of Michael Curry. We know. We've heard this story before. So, and what's funny is that I guess that Michael Curry didn't expect that they would have forensics look at that letter, and they dusted it for prints, and it was Michael Curry's fingerprints. So, of course, they're like, there's this guy again. But he still wouldn't give them any additional information. And that's what made it so frustrating for them. So anyway, time goes on. Michael's in jail this time for 27 years for beating the living shit out of his roommate. And time marches on again, like I said. And then in 2010, the case was reopened by the Michigan State Police. And, for anybody out there who has a family member whose case may be cold or whatnot, this is proof that the more that you put pressure on that police force, the more that they're likely they are to reopen those cases. Because what it is that because her family was so diligent on asking them continually over and over, will you please revisit this case? Will you please see that justice is served for my mother and my sister and my aunt and my friend? And eventually they were able to allocate this to a cold case detective. But as we all know, as true crime fans, wheels of justice turn very slowly. And unfortunately, it wasn't until 2018 that a full-time investigator got this case. Now, what I've learned from watching true crime TV as much as I have, and I'm like, that's why I started this channel, is because I don't have anybody to talk to with the amount of obsession that I have with this stuff. And what I've learned in being such a true crime fan, if that's a thing, because these aren't just stories, these are people, and I understand that, and I think that we all understand that. I think a good part of us that watch this isn't just for entertainment, it's for, you know, learning about the crimes and knowing that there's people behind these victims, and there's a whole ripple effect that goes very, very, very deep. And I think that a lot of us are very, very empathetic for this, and that I know that the stories that I hear about the victims' families really affect me. And that's one of the reasons why that I wanted to start this channel, not just to copy the living crap out of Bailey Sarian and Brittany Vaughn, who I love them so much. Oh my gosh, you have no idea what kind of fangirl I am. Like, if I ran into Bailey Sarian at Whole Foods, I would drop my blueberries. I'd be like, you know, or if I saw Brittany Vaughn at Walmart, she said she was checking out at Walmart one time and she saw somebody who was a convicted killer and she was freaking out. I would be behind her saying, okay, whatever, the killer, and be like, girl, that is Brittany Vaughn. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm one of those. So anyway, but imitation is the family's finest form of flattery. I hope, or either that or maybe I'm just a little bit psycho and just copying them because I can. But anyway, this isn't about me. Let's get back to the crime. But as a true crime fan person, it's the kind that what it is that, you know, we really get involved in these cases and they don't leave us, and we think about them when we're driving to work, when we have a little, you know, a spot in between Excel spreadsheets or something where we're like, you know, gosh, I wonder what so-and-so's up to from that case, or I wonder if they've figured out who that missing person is. Yeah, as I was saying, it's not that, you know, I think of this as entertainment or whatever. And it's just that this is just something I'm interested in. And I don't have a lot of people to talk to about it. Like my husband, he thinks that I'm insane. He thinks I'm crazy because I talk about these cases of people he's never heard of. And all I ever do is just watch death. That's it. That's all I watch. I watch YouTube more than regular TV. And I watch Forensic Files. And I have all the first 48s on my, you know, in my iTunes library. I watched it on repeat, like at night. Like, yeah, I don't know why. It's just interesting to me. And like, you get to know the investigators. Right now, I am so into Tulsa First 48. Oh my gosh, if I saw Jason White at the store, I'd be like, ah! He would be just like Bailey Sarian. Like, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have a life, because I don't. And that's, well, I think that was my dog agreeing that I don't have a life. That's kind of sad. But anyway, even she knows. But back to the story. What I have learned from all the true crime TV that I've watched is that it is just as important, if not more important, to rule out suspects. And the Michigan State Police were now using new methods in forensics and information gathering. And they were really, you know, able to rule out a lot of people that they were thinking were viable suspects at this time. So in July of 2018, Curry had been out of prison for just over a year and was living in California. Well, what he didn't know is that they got some search warrants to watch his Facebook account to see what he was saying, because he's kind of, you know, he's not kind of, he's crazy. Sir, if you're watching this, please don't come for me. But you're a little strange and you probably do need some help. But anyway, he was, they were watching his Facebook, and it said, a post on there, it said, I never killed anybody that didn't deserve it. Now, sir, why would you, if you look at my Facebook, all I have is dogs. That's it. That's all. Maybe it's because I'm boring, but still, I get mad at people, but Facebook ain't the place to air out that kind of confession. But anyway, he also posted, I'm no angel. If someone annoys me, I will not hesitate to take their life. Well, okay, sir, I'll remember that if it pisses you off in traffic. But it was on October of 2018 that Wilkinson's body was exhumed, because the DA at this time was like, you know what, this guy has posted all this kind of cryptic crap. It's been 30 years and he's still posting crap like this. And he said that he had choked her and that he did it with his bare hands. And let's just verify his information and see if we can exhume her body. And you know how, I mean, anybody who's into true crime knows all about the hyoid bone. That's the first thing I think of whenever they're like, somebody was strangled. I was like, check the hyoid. Yeah, all of a sudden you become like an anatomy specialist whenever you watch a few episodes of, you know, Forensic Files. But anyway, I digress, which I will do often. But what's insane is that they exhumed her body and everything that he said lined up with the way that she passed. So it was at this point the DA was like, you know, we've had it. This guy keeps saying that he's done it. Go get him, book him, bring him from California, extradite him to Michigan. Let's talk to him because I'm sick of this cold case on my desk. So that's exactly what they did. And it was at this time that authorities, they sat him down and they said, listen, we've had about enough of you. We all think that you're an attention seeker. We think that you are playing with us. We think that you need to put your money where your mouth is and take our polygraph because we've had it. No, sir. That's when Michael Curry freaked out. He said, nope, I was about to tell you all about it, but I don't think I could be put on that machine and tell you about it. Well, then that just proved to them that he was an attention seeker. And they said, you know what? Well, we got you here. DNA has changed a little bit. And so we'll go ahead and take a sample of your DNA and put it in there and run it against the, we'll run Wilda's again in the database and see what happens. Okay, so they took his DNA, like I said, and they put it in CODIS, and we all love CODIS. And I was watching a thing on, it was the First 48, imagine that. And it was Detective Quinn, part of the Atlanta homicide team. And he said that there is absolutely nothing that compares to getting a CODIS hit. And that to quote him would be, it's like a gift from God that you get that notification and it's boom, my case. That's it. It's done. Let's do this. I bet it has to be equally as devastating to get a confirmation that that's not your guy. Somebody that you've been watching and basically trying to construct a case out of and finally get confirmation that it's not him. And that's what happened with Michael Curry. And I mean, it was palpable, the energy and how it fell. But hold on. That was followed by a CODIS hit. Somebody else's DNA was found at the scene. And his name was Robert Waite. And 50-year-old Robert Waite was actually already in jail for a list of heinous crimes. And in my videos, I'm gonna try to avoid some words that some people may find particularly offensive because I don't like to really focus on especially the crimes against women and some men that are forceful and purposeful. And I mean, I guess all murder is purposeful, but you know, I think you get the gist of what I'm talking about. And I just don't like talking about that word. I don't like, you know, I've never really known anybody close to me or had much experience with that, but I can't imagine what that's like. And I don't want anybody to ever watch a video of mine and be taken back to that place. So we won't talk about that, but we will just say that, trust me, girl, he's in prison and he should be because he's heinous and what he's done to these women is horrific. And I mean, he's got kidnapping. He's got all sorts of terrible things against women. So I'm glad you've been there for a while. But anyway, he's going to stay in there because his DNA was absolutely concluded to have been at the scene. So whenever they brought him in, he said that, yeah, oh yeah, wait, I was there. I was there with Michael Curry. And he actually is the one who did it. I was there, but I watched him do it. Well, investigators concluded that the only reason that he said this is because he was watching the coverage on it. And that after the DNA results came in, that they were able to eliminate Curry as a suspect completely. And that he was just an attention seeker, which still blows my mind. Because, I mean, like, I'm an attention seeker too. That's why I'm on YouTube at 45 years old making videos about makeup and copying other girls that do it actually a lot better. But I'm trying, so whatever. Cheers. But that's different than saying that I did murder and committed murder and all that stuff. Are you serious? What's wrong with you, man? But anyway, They eliminated Curry completely. They, I don't know what they did with him. And there's not a whole lot of information about him after this case, which it's bizarre because that guy needs to be studied. Sir, what is your problem? Like, why? Why? I mean, wow. Okay. Like, I don't know. I can't even think of a reason why somebody would be like that. Like, I mean, I've said a lot of dumb shit. A lot. I've made up a lot of dumb stories. I've lied about so much. But never about, like, killing people. Or stuff that can put me in jail. But anyway, again, I digress. Robert Waite, though, he was pretty much cornered. And at that time, whenever they said, listen, the jig is up. We know what it is. You did it. Just, you know, the more that you can go along with this, the better off it'll be. And he was sentenced between 25 and 60 years because he eventually said, okay, fine. Okay, I did it. So with that being said, he'll be put away for a long time. You know, his, the big mystery that still remains, though, is about why Michael Curry confessed. And they just speculate that it was, you know, a blessing in disguise because ultimately his little confessions led him to the real killer. Because had they not brought him in, taken that DNA, they never would have ran her DNA again and blah, blah, blah. So that takes us to the next, you know, phase of... And see, I'm not very good at this whole eyelash thing. I can't do it on camera like those other girls yet, so I'll be back. Ooh, I'm back. I can't do that on camera like they can. I just don't, I don't have it. I ain't that girl because I don't know what they're doing, but I certainly can't. So anyway, but back to our little story. I hate to call it story. The topic at hand is, this is what I was most excited to do this channel for, is because I can talk to somebody about this stuff. And comment and let me know what you guys think about why you think that guy didn't stop confessing. That to me is so bizarre. Like, there's just, I mean, there's one thing in, you know, copycat killers, I guess, and stuff, is that they're, you know, actually out there killing people and they got genuine psychosis. And not to say that, you know, he doesn't, but I mean, I can't, I mean, like, this went on for 30 years. 30 years. What if the police would have been like, okay, death sentence, you know? It's like the minute they wanted to put him on that polygraph test, he just wigged out. And it's crazy because I'm one of those bandwagoners. I mean, like, if I have my mind made up, I don't even need facts. I am a confirmation bias person. Anything you say can or will be used to form my opinion in the way that I think is best. And, you know, I got no problem admitting that. That's one of my biggest faults. And whenever I was researching this and looking on Facebook and whatnot, people were like, I'm so glad they caught this guy. Whenever they arrested Michael Curry again, that what took them so long in pursuing him, and people were like, well, you know how cops are. Well, no, actually, you know how people that are misinformed are, because had they listened to people like you, an innocent man would be in jail. But then I was also right there with you going, yeah, let's get him. So I don't know. I mean, like, have you guys ever known anybody that was like that? Because I mean, like, there's one thing to be, you know, like, seeking attention, but there's another thing about, like, putting your life in jeopardy. Like, where's his family? Does anybody know anything about this guy? Like, what's he doing now? Like, are there other crimes that he's like, yeah, that was me. That was me. I mean, has he gotten help? Have you guys ever known anybody like that? That would, you know, fess up to things they didn't do just to get attention? That just, I don't know. And then, like, what were you guys doing when you were 16? Like, Robert Waite was 16 years old at the time that he murdered Wilda Wilkinson, and there was no motive at all. What did he get? And what was he doing? He was 16. When I was 16, like, I was trying to get Bartles and James, if that tells you how old I am. But, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to me that people have such strange backgrounds, and I don't know. It just, It blows my mind. I don't know. What do y'all think? Tell me. I want to read it in the comments. I want to comment with you. And I want to just know if I'm alone in not knowing people like this, or anyway, that's all for today. I have plenty of other stories. If somebody stole my phone and looked through the notes, they would think I was absolutely insane. And I also have a little spiral that I jot ideas on. If I just hear it passing in, the supermarket or library, or just out for walking my dogs, and I overhear people talking about a case or something, I'll be like, write it down. So if somebody ever stole my purse, they'd be like, bitch, here's your stuff back, and please don't come for me. But I would if I just told my shit, and that would officially put you on my shit list. So anyway, long story longer, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to try to focus mostly on the smaller cases that hopefully you haven't heard of, and a lot of my stuff is going to come from Forensic Files and First 48. I have a tendency to watch those a lot, as I've already told you. So anyway, see you around. Bye.